Okay, my friends, the interview was over. I have got a lot to say. And you know what fascinates me? Not what he said, not what Hunter said, not what Candace said, but the reaction of people. That's what if you miss that, you missed everything. If you missed the reaction from people who show absolutely no compassion whatsoever, the people who are the most loud when it comes to their faith and redemption, but with him it's like wow. And during the course of this, did anybody listen? Everybody's typing away and typing away. It's like, are you listening to this? Did anybody listen? People are putting in the Israeli flag and the bots, and it's like, what is the? I've never really spent. I'm not. Sometimes I'm like, I think, yeah, I knew he was going to say this, but it's the reaction from people. It's like, what do they understand what this is? Maybe we are just, or not everybody. I don't think you are, but maybe we live in a society where people are just too immature to understand. Look, I've got a lot to say, but first, this important word from our sponsor. My friends, this is bigger than most people realize. While everyone watches missiles and fighter jets, the real battle is happening in the supply chain. Nearly every advanced U.S. weapon system depends on tungsten, yet America has barely mined it domestically in years, while China dominates global supply. Washington is now racing to fix that. The Pentagon has committed millions toward restarting domestic tungsten production, and President Donald Trump's Project Vault initiative launched a $12 billion critical mineral strategy to secure American supply chains. That's where Vault Strategic Mining comes in. Trading as KNOX in Canada and KNXFF in the U.S., Vault is building a strategic tungsten portfolio anchored by historic Nevada projects tied to past U.S. defense production. With tungsten prices climbing and global tensions rising, this is no longer just mining, it is national security. Check out the link below to learn more, and special thanks to Vault Strategic Mining for sponsoring today's video. Absolutely one of the most fascinating stories. And I loved it because it's about humanity. It's about addiction. It's about learning a lot about her. I really admire, you don't want to say word, you love people. I don't know these people, but I think that sincerely, I know what I'm talking about. Candace has a heart of gold, and she is really trying very, very hard to be the better Catholic, to be the better. Notice sometimes Catholics never say Christian, they say Catholic, which is fine. I understand this. Same thing with him. But again, what fascinated me was the hardness of people who say they believe in the word of forgiveness and piety and redemption. It's like, what does this guy have to do? And also, have these people never met? Do you know what addiction is? Do you have any idea what it is? Do you have any idea? Now, look, there's a portion of him, of course, that's full of shit. And a lot of it, too, has to be he wants to come across well. He's not an idiot. He knows that, I'd like to speak my piece, but if I could perhaps maybe not, maybe win over a few fans, I wouldn't mind not being the pariah that I am. I mean, that might be kind of groovy if I could maybe do that. I can understand that. Why would he not want to win some form, some level of, I don't know what you want to call it. Addiction is something that unless you have seen it, unless you have been a part of it, unless you can imagine this, it's very difficult for people to understand it. Very, very people. And what's also interesting, sometimes people have no ability to understand your brain being rewired. Does that make any sense to you? Where your brain is completely and totally rewired. Completely. Your brain is not yours. Your brain doesn't allow usual rationality. It goes in like kind of like an mRNA and kind of reworks, reprograms, reconnects everything. And I guarantee you, don't be surprised if you find out in the next week or two or whatever that Hunter goes back on the off the wagon, whatever the phrase is, relapses. Don't be surprised. Not because he's weak, though he might be. No, but it's not a weakness. Nobody wants to be addicted. Nobody wants to be addicted. Nobody wants to. See, that's the most important point. What I have found when dealing with this, in my professional career, prosecutor, defense, mental health, friends, growing up in this really the 70s and seeing people get whacked out on drugs or this or that, I have an understanding that I think is most learned. I understand it. I grasp it. I understand it. I had a friend of mine one time who claims to have been an alcoholic. He claims he was an alcoholic. And he says that he can put the bottle down whenever he wants. Now, there are some folks, and you've seen them, there are some folks who can go through, who are serious honkers. They're heavy drinkers. Super heavy drinkers. They can go out, they can party with the best of them, and I think alcohol is worse than a lot of stuff for different reasons. And they're not alcoholics. They may go nuts, they may go apeshit at a bar, they may go crazy, but they're not an alcoholic. They're able to stop, and when they do stop, there's no physical addiction, there's no nothing they just whatever it is. Maybe they do too much, whatever. Then there are other alcoholics who wait every single day. They wake up and all they think about is, am I going to get through the day? Am I going to get through the day? And they go to meetings and they go to it grips them like you can't imagine. And you don't know. Sometimes it might be lineal. Sometimes it might be familial, might be genetic. Who knows? But every day they say, is this going to be the day? Will there be something? Will today be, one day at a time? And you look at them, and to most people who have no compassion, no ability to understand, they look at him and they say, well, since it doesn't apply to me, I think it's nonsense and I don't think there's anything to it. That's it. Since I don't understand this, it's crazy. And it goes for mental health. It goes for a lot of things. Because I don't feel it, because I don't understand it, because it doesn't apply to me, I think it's crazy. And the nuttiest of them all is gambling, which fascinates me. It's the rewiring of your brain for dopamine, serotonin, neurotransmitters. Your brain is permanently changed. Listen to Nora Volkoff. Phenomenal. Watch her explain how brain receptors change because of addiction. It is serious. Now, some people might have, believe it or not, they might even pick up a meth pipe and say, bleh, ooh, that's scary. Not for me. Not everybody who's tried meth is an addict. No. Not everybody. Some have. A lot have. Not everybody. This one doesn't have, for whatever reason. I don't know. Some people have never had. It's strange. Some just, I don't know what it is. They just never like booze or never like this or they never. And when I don't feel a compunction, towards something, I don't think I'm born with superhuman strength. I don't sit there and say, well, I can say that about chocolate or something. A lot of people love to always brag. They're better than you. Oh, I don't do that. Anybody who can't, listen, I know how I have a couple of drinks and that's it. Why? Because I'm superior than you. No, you don't have that predisposition. You don't have it. Your brain isn't wired that way. Your brain isn't wired that way. And to some people, they are gone. And there are some people who, there's a lot of what he said I really felt sorry for. I mean, I really did. And when he's like that, imagine what he said. You're Hunter Biden. You think Hunter Biden likes to be the pariah? Having like he said, every picture. He's supposed to have he's in the bathroom. He's got the pipe. He's in the tub. He loses his teeth. He's spanking some hooker. Do you think that? Do you think he has, does it, remember like from A Merchant of Venice, does a Jew bleed? Does it, does he have feelings? Of course he does. Is there any part of you that has compassion? No. Why? Because he's Joe Biden's son and screw you. That's what people think. That's what I find most interesting. Oh, I find it so fascinating. And as I'm reading, I never really read whenever Candace does her things, a lot of it's very positive. We love you, Candace. And then people will say, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is God, all hail, Mary, wonderful. And then Agam. The next person is like, hey, not that. And I'm thinking, are you not listening to her? Is everybody just typing away or whatever it is? Is anybody even, are you watching the body language? Are you watching? Are you paying attention? No, because then you get these bots and these trolls and these people who come in and they're horrible. They're miserable people. They're not from some Chinese bot farm. These are like the most miserable. Yeah. I don't know what they're, immature or just angry or lonely or I don't know what it is. It's like, would you shut? They're like the people who talk during movies. Would you stop talking and listening to this? This is fascinating. And he goes, I was a crackhead. Yep. Uh-huh. I thought he acquitted himself well. Don't be surprised. This could have maybe set him up. Well, I think they taped this the other day. This could have set him off. You don't know the stressors. You don't know what it is. It may be something out of, I don't want to ask how many of you folks are alcoholics or how many of you have or suffered from anything whatsoever. But I have seen it so many times. If somebody says, you're not going to believe it. I was feeling good. And somebody said, what the hell? I'll just have a beer or I'll play a couple of hands or whatever it is. And it was off to the races because it's fooling you. It's lying to you. It's your brain. You are fighting this. Some are, not others. Not others. There are some people who just, and see, that's the part about it was, if you really believe in what I think is what you say Christ's word is, it's the idea of you feel compassion. You feel sorry for people. You don't hate them. I'm too busy to hate people. I don't know about you. I don't want to hate anybody. He's kind of inconsequential. But imagine every single day, on every paper, everywhere you went, you have from everybody from Steve Bannon to Rudy to everybody else going nuts. And he brought up some great points. Did you hear what he said about Israel? Did you hear what he said about Trump? Did you hear what he said about some of the deals that regarding Trump's sons? And let me tell you something. I want to say something. It occurred to me. I have these moments of epiphany. And one of them is as follows. When you study, for example, most legal matters, for example, the hearsay rule. When you study the hearsay rule, you first learn what hearsay is, and then you learn the 9 million exceptions. Read the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. You must have a warrant to either arrest somebody. You have to have an arrest warrant and you have to have a search warrant with 9 million exceptions. Open view, search engine to an arrest. There's all these exceptions. Like, well, what is the rule? No, that's the rule, but these are the exceptions. Yeah, but I liked Trump and like him. I like him kind of as a person. When he's sort of, I know a lot about him personally, and he is not what you think. And what he's done with my wife in particular and the family members is just above and beyond the call of duty. But I have exceptions. Politically, what he's doing? Oh, no. No. Middle East? Oh, no. No. All of these things that he's doing and his sons, I guarantee you, if Biden's sons did what they did, you'd be all over it like stink on shit. And you know it's true. And I will tell you that. So I like him, but I've got exceptions. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. The Middle East is, okay. So what I'm saying is, I have exceptions. So what he said today was absolutely spot on. Spot on. In so many respects. Absolutely. See, people, I have no problems. And remember this, and I've told you this, and I'm going to say it again. F. Scott Fitzgerald, or F, as we call him, said that the sign of a superior mind, signs, is to be able to handle two or more seemingly inconsistent thoughts simultaneously without losing your mind in the meantime. I can like, not like, agree, disagree. It's like positive and negative spins. I can do all kinds of versions of this stuff without a doubt, without any kind of, see what I'm saying? I can do all of this stuff simultaneously. And I thought it was terrific. And I thought, Candace acquits herself. She's got a heart of gold. That means, sound like Neil Young here. That means more to me. There's so much, people talk about all this evil. I love the pious people. These people who think they're so much better than you. There's evil and demons. They don't have an ounce of compassion in their heart for anybody or anything. It just blows my mind. They don't have any kind of feelings. I've never seen it before. It's the strangest thing. Well, yes, those innocent children were killed, but don't look at me. What? They can vote. They wanted this. They wanted this. There is a coldness. There is a meanness. And there are these phony religious types, not you, who love to think, oh, they are imbued with this wealth of understanding. They believe that they're somehow, oh, his name, and yet when you listen to them, there's not a speck of humanity in their heart. Nothing. But they talk a good game. Oh, they talk a good game. It's like people who talk about it in America. They know nothing about the Constitution. But they talk a good game. I'm telling you, I was flabbergasted. I still don't know what I took more out of this. What he said, what Candace said, or watching the reactions of people. And what is the purpose of a bot? What? Or a troll? What is the purpose? I'm serious. Is public opinion, I'm not kidding. Is public opinion swayed? Is public opinion different? Is public opinion somehow affected? Is public opinion adjusted because you have put up the Israeli or the Palestinian flag 10 times in a row, just hitting Control V, paste, 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 paste? What does that mean? What is the purpose of it? I'm serious. I ask, and I'm not being cute. I really want to know, what is the purpose of this? Who are these people? What are you doing? I'll be with you in a minute. Come on. Time to eat. Sorry, Ma. I'm too busy. I'm pasting Palestinian flags or put. I've got all of these emojis I've got copied in a particular way. Or in the old days, remember they would spell out words and say, "What the hell is this? Does this do any good? What are you doing? I'm an asshole. That's what I'm doing. I'm for nothing. I'm the reason why people hate the internet. I'm a troll. I don't have any. I don't believe in anything. I'm just a turd in the punch bowl. I'm the annoying guy, and I do it for my own. I just want to be noticed. Maybe I don't really have anything to say, so I go to where people are. I wade in. I spread my, I don't know what it is. I don't even know. What would it be? Would it be like is it graffiti? What would be this? I don't know. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And then somebody will say, "What, did you read the comments?" I was like, "Well, some are okay, but I can't believe that people can say, okay." I applaud Candace for talking. I would talk to anybody. Who do you think I would talk to? I wouldn't talk to the nicest people in the world. I would talk to Hitler if I could, serial killers, people that I want to talk. I don't want to talk to nice people. What do I want to talk to? Seriously, what? What do I want to talk to Mr. Rogers for? I think he was a nice person. Boring. I want to talk to somebody. Explain to me your motivation. Explain to me why you do something. Explain to me this extermination, genocide. Explain this to me. Explain to me why'd you kill all those nurses? Why? What goes through your head? I want to understand this. I don't like you. One time, years ago, Time magazine said they had their Man of the Year. And Man of the Year was defined by them as not somebody who did good, but somebody who was the most significant during the course of the year. And it was more like the absolute value, magnitude versus plus or minus. You know, the absolute value of -4 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. Direction means nothing. It means magnitude. So they said in one particular year, Adolf Hitler was going to change the world, and they made him, I think either they did or they were going to make him Man of the Year. Maybe it's a wrong name or whatever. Oh my God, people. I don't get upset over something like that. That means nothing to me. That means absolutely, positively nothing to me. Everything fascinates me. I make no bones about it. Everything does. You fascinate me, but not the way you think, not what you do, sometimes what you don't do. I like your idiosyncrasies. I like your habits. I like how sometimes you project. You say things about other people that you kind of think about yourself or that you wish you were. Sometimes when it comes to religion, fascinates me. Religion, because I've never met more people, and I've been around this my whole life. And I love the way, and I love the way Candace and the way he talks about the Black Pope. He knows more about the Catholic Church than she does. I think she's new to this. She mentioned the Black Pope, the papacy. That's another thing. And the whole role of the Jesuits, because nobody understands it, because they think that they still think there's this negative, and people will know nothing about this. They'll just hear a couple of sentences and they'll say, "Oh, the Jesuits," and just like the Medicis or the Borgias or these weird Venetian conspiracies. But he knew about this, and he knew a lot about what was going on. And he was talking about meeting with the Pope and everything, and social justice and all this kind of jazz. And the bottom line is simply this, and this is the most important. Everything in my life that I find fascinating is never what you want me to find is fascinating. You can present something, and what I'll focus on is something completely different. You'll bring out a chocolate cake, and I want to know, why do people react to the cake? And why did you pick this particular icing? And why do you always only make cake and nothing else? You see what I mean? And that's something which is very difficult to understand. It was wonderful. Candace Owens is still, and he said it himself, Candace Owens is the most important person around today. She elevated today to a level that most people don't understand. They don't see it and they won't understand it because people are very frankly stupid, and they're unimaginative, and they're unenlightened, and they're uneducated. And the human condition doesn't, they're not interested in this. They're interested in apodictic, kind of black and white, good. Is he a bad guy? Yeah, he's a dirtbag. He's an addict. He's an addict. Now, the worst if somebody says, there are a lot of people I know who do this, who are not addicted. They're really screwed up. They'll do everything he did, but not because of drugs. They're just, and we also, this is another one I love. People love the notion of evil. They love the notion of this very simple, again, apodictic, black and white, absolute evil, which goes to the Manichaean world of good versus evil. And they love it. And they'll use like demonic, satanic. And they'll say, for example, that Hunter's addiction was the devil. And somewhere the devil is saying, now look, I get a lot of, grief, and I don't blame you, but I'm not into addiction. That's not me. I'm not into epilepsy, addictions. I'm not into schizophrenia. I'm not into bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. But people say, no, it is, because I want there to be something very, very simple. I don't want to get into, yeah, well, maybe, I don't know, sorta, I guess, maybe, And what's so fascinating about everything, and I mean this, what's so fascinating is that this goes to show you where we're now going to take this to the next level. This was one of the most important people. And if I ask you the question, who would you like to know? Who would you like to, if I could ask you, whom would you like to sit down and talk to? Who? Now, you might say, well, I want to meet Paul McCartney. No, there is no famous person I want to meet because they're famous. That doesn't work any good. Or that they're talented, or, they're a musician, or no. That's, who would you want to meet? Who would the people that you really would? And I'm going to give you the show, and I'm going to look at this, Karl Marx, one of the best one ever. How about Victor Marx? Would you like that one? She went from Victor Marx to Hunter Biden. That was so funny. That was good. And also, Candace did something which is very difficult for people to do. She sat back and let him talk. She let him talk. You understand? They let him talk. She didn't try to overdo it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. In history, or people now, I mean, would you want to talk to President Trump? I wouldn't. He's already talked. Dr. Kevorkian. What is Trump going to tell you? I mean, I got to know this. Who would be the people that right now? Sometimes I thought I used to like to watch some of the interviews with Manson, but he was so gone. He didn't really know what he was talking about. But I kind of enjoyed some of that a little bit. You know, when you see something like this, I'm going to go back to it again. And I don't want to ask anybody. I don't want people to come and please do not use our particular family here to explain yourself. Remember, if you are suffering from an addiction, my advice, keep it to yourself. People will use it against you. People do not understand it. You think, don't tell people about yourself. Don't tell people about your innermost thoughts. Not that there's anything you have to be embarrassed about, but don't do it. Don't tell people about your thoughts. They will use it against you. I don't know why people insist upon it. It's one of those things I really, honesty. No. I'm going to get this off my chest. No. People are not nice. They're not good. You don't understand this. These people are not good people. They're always trying to find something to use against you. People are not nice. Most people that you meet are incompetent. And they're not very imaginative. And this is the way it is, by the way. And they're not very smart and they're not very deep, but they don't really see, they don't see anything other than the most obvious of ways. Believe me when I tell you this. Believe me. I one time knew of a case which was so interesting. And I've always loved people who are going through mental fugues. Always been fascinated. I've told you about this since I went to a mental hospital. Not personally, but I was in college. We went to this county psych. Well, it was a county. It was a hospital, and it was like Creedmoor or Bellevue. I mean, it was wild. We had a thing in Florida called Chattahoochee. Chattahoochee was the state mental hospital. And they would always say, be careful, or they're going to send you to Chattahoochee. We're way down yonder around the Chattahoochee. It's like Alan, whatever his name is. Okay, so I walked in, and my mind opened. You know how people say, "Oh, I'm into drugs," and I'm into the hypnotics, and yeah, okay, not for me, but that's okay. There's a lot of people. Be very careful with that. I want to say something very, very, very interesting. There was a time when people said, marijuana is harmless. The marijuana then might have been. Yeah. There was some times when you had to spend a lot of money because a lot of stuff they were selling was crap. Because you didn't know what you were getting. Just didn't know what you were getting. And then and the stuff that was the real killer stuff was really nothing anywhere compared to what's going on now. Now, because of brain elasticity and the like, there are people who are using drugs, and I'm telling you, they're going to find themselves in a position that is going to change them, and it's not necessarily good. I appreciate Joe Rogan quite a bit. I do wish he would be a little bit, again, I can't tell him this, but when he and Joey Diaz start laughing about drugs and being, fucked up, and you're giving some people the impression that that's cool. And that since Joey Diaz is funny and cool, maybe I can be cool like him and I can do drugs. And maybe if you're using hallucinogenics and psych meds, then I'll use them, even though I don't know what I'm using. I don't know dosage. I don't know what's happening. Remember, Sid Barrett went berserk, probably had a predisposition, but LSD and all that drug did not help him. That's the only thing I would say. I would never do that, because in this world, there's a lot of young people in particular who want you to give them countenance. They haven't developed their psyche yet, and they don't know. They think they think that it's okay to be like this. They think that it's cool to be to use drugs, and that's okay. And listen, like I said, I'm not trying to. I'm never going to ever lecture anything, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there who are involved themselves who really shouldn't be into this stuff. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So with that comes more and more. You're going to see more and more versions of schizoaffective kind of weird behavior, which is, again, that's psychotic. That's different. And then you're also going to see more and more people who involve themselves in pharmaceuticals and whatever, and they're going to become themselves addicted. And you don't want to get into opioids, and you don't want to get into any of this kind of stuff. And that's what I think his message was. That's what I think it was. And when you talk to people, again, for somebody who's never seen this before, they just... Now remember, you're going to say some things. There are some people who are saying things about Joe Biden. I'm not, and this is it, I am not trying to excuse Joe Biden. I'm not trying to stand up for Kamala Harris. I'm not. It's difficult for some people, and I can see it. You're going to say, you don't understand something. I love this one. This is my favorite. You're better off on weed than opioids. You want to do a better off then? You're better off shooting yourself with a 22 versus a 45. You're better off doing this. This is better than this. I like that. Vaping was better than cigarettes. Remember that one? Well, vaping, I got off cigarettes with vaping. And people get into that and they say it's better than. But it's still bad. Well, maybe it's bad, but it's better than. Why do you have to do either one? Well, I don't know about that, but it's better than. It's better that. And that's somebody who smokes, weed. They always have, they say, well, it's better than. Listen, it helps me. It helps me. Do you know, I heard something very interesting recently. There is something which I think we're going to find out one day. And just as a layperson, there is something called ADD and ADHD. I think we're going to find out that was a misnomer. That is going to be like melancholia or choler, or like we used to have these various phrases in the old days. But somebody one time who thought he had ADHD or whatever. And what really helped was cocaine. Duchess of Camelot. Bless your heart. I thought to myself, my God, this super chats aren't even working. I'm watching, what's funny? Somebody gave Candace and I 1,000 ARS. I go, what the hell is that? Atlanta Rhythm Section? What's that? It's like Argentinian something. It's like 72 cents. What was 1,000? Duchess Camelot. Thank you, dear Duchess. Says, I've had 8 back surgeries and only have a life due to medications. This can't be taken away because of addicts. Absolutely, positively not. It's not either or. There are people who have not addiction, who need it because of the pain they're in. Somebody one time said, methadone, a drug addiction. Who was it? Nora Volkoff said, an addiction. Imagine being starvation. That's the feeling of addiction. You're starving in your head. For back surgery, for pain. Imagine the worst pain the worst toothache, the worst, most awful, god-awful pain that is crippling. What would you do to stop that? What? Pray? Run laps? Meditate? Maybe, but not really. You see, this is an either or. If I guarantee you, some people would say, I would rather be addicted to painkillers. Remember House MD? Remember that one with those? He used to throw those things back, make me want to do those. Oh, and I, let me tell you something. I thought those things were, oh my God. I loved really good pain stuff for like 2 or 3 pills. And then I couldn't. Then it's like, they just stopped. But that first one ever, when I was 13, I had bladder surgery, had a diverticulum. Bladder looks like, round. Here we go. Imagine this globe is a bladder. Bladder's like this, and it had a little pouch. It looked like a Mickey Mouse thing, but with only one ear, like that. You know what I mean? It was this pouch it's called a diverticulum. All right. So bladder would not empty. So I could go forever. Oh my God, it was like a camel. Only guy I know who brought a magazine to take a leak. It was just like, what is going on here? Well, they went in, and then they found out when I was a kid. Listen to this. They took x-rays, and they looked at it this way. But when you looked at me sideways, my bladder, for some reason, was a little bit larger, anterior to posterior. So I had this super duper bladder plus a pouch. And they said, this is bad because it's not going to empty right. And we got all kinds of problems. So they went in and they cut it. So they got to go through the abdomen, cut the bladder, cut it, suture it, kind of reconfigure it. Man, 13 years old. What is this? It was like, whoa. I mean, just you've been stabbed. You've been, oh my God, what? And it wasn't so much of a pain. It was like this, what is going on here? I'm just like, oh my God. So they had some minor stuff for pain. So one day they had a catheter. They also had like a Penrose, kind of another catheter for drainage. Catheter for the bladder, but also one for drainage. So you had two, drainage and urine. At the end of the catheter of the Foley, there's a little balloon. They inflate it with saline so you can't pull it back out. See? Now my incision was such that it was like raw. So it was through the abdomen, through the whatever, and then through into the bladder. I mean, lower. It was like multiple filleted. Okay, really good. And really red and just looked horrible. So they said one time, "No, you're gonna have to take you. We have to take you in a wheelchair ride." And I looked at him, and I had gained age. I was like an old Marine or something. I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? We're gonna take you in the wheelchair?" "No, you're not." "Yes, you are." I said, "The hell you are. I can't even move." I mean, if a molecule of hydrogen hits this thing, I'm in pain. You're out of your mind. You're out of your fucking mind. And when you went into it, I was 13 years old, and he's like, "This is terrible." The nurse would say, "You want me to wash you?" "Want me to wash you? No, give me that washcloth." "How dare you? I'm 13. I'm a budding young man. After 2 days of this, you walk out with your ass hanging out. You don't care. You want everything off so they can get to it that much quicker. Oh, leave your money and your pride at the door." And I was on the 8th floor of this pediatric ward, which is really sad because it was called St. Joseph's Hospital. It still is. So they said, "Well, if we don't put you in a wheelchair, we're going to have to stick a big needle in your lung to pull the crap out." I said, "Well, let's go. Where's that wheelchair? Let's go. I'm ready to go. Come on." So they put me in this wheelchair and I look like I look just like I've been run over and then backed up. I just horrible. And they had the tubes. And the tube have these long, why you have 9 miles of tube, I have no idea. But they shoved the tube down the side. And as they're pushing me, and they have this, forget this, on the walls, they've got, Dumbo and Mickey Mouse, and and there's me. I'm in this wheelchair, like and they had a bag of blood, everything's blood, and they're hanging. And they always, whenever you have either a catheter, whatever, they always hold it up, and it goes. They go, what are you doing? Why are you holding it up? Can't you read it? Anyway, so they stick that in the side, that the drain, the urine, and they stuck these tubes down the side. Now remember the ball, the balloon they inflate. So as I'm being moved, the tube gets caught in the axle, and all of a sudden I say, "Hey!" I think, "Oh my!" Remember the slightest movement, and I grabbed the wheelchair, and it was like, who was that? Edvard Munch, like Sofia Coppola. Pacino in the movie The Godfather we never referred to. I hit a note. Birds and fish could only hear. Just like, and they grabbed me and they picked, and these kids are like walking, and there's one's getting his. Do kids get their tonsils out anymore? No, seriously. Do kids even get tonsils out? Remember that? I don't think they do. I never hear any kids getting tonsils out. And I never remember my parents or anybody getting knees and shoulders and hips, and I don't know what that's about. So anyway, so they're looking at me and they're saying, "And this is your room." And here I am with the bags of blood, and they're picking up the wheelchair like a sedan chair, like the Egyptians are, walk like, and that's me. They're bringing it back in. So I was like, I'm not even making. I'm like grabbing people, like pulling them in, grabbing them by the throat. It's not even pain. So the guy says, they wheel this thing in. I said, "What's that?" There's this big, and they do the pick, not the pick line, but they put the IV. They're ready. He goes, "Here, this is timed. This is morphine. Hit it." He goes, "Here, show you how to do it. Push this button." Boom. And all of a sudden, it courses through your, this is IV. So it's like immediate. And it was, oh my God, it was, second time I had morphine was at that hospital when I did a House of Cards, which is another story. All of a sudden, I am in another world. I am happy. I am one with the world. I'm 13. I see Jesus. I see everybody. Jesus sees me. Thank you. Hello. Relatives who've died, birds. I'm hearing White Room, my Cream. I'm thinking, what is going on here? It was the greatest. I said, "This is great." And goes, no. It's time. When's the next one? Oh, I don't know. No, give me an idea. Well, only if you're in pain. I'm going to be in pain. When is it? Well, 20, whatever, an hour. I was watching that clock. Greenwich Mean Time called me to say, "What time do you have?" 30 more seconds. And it was like, whoa, this is great. Wow. Forget these little tablets and, oh, I'm going to take a Percocet. Screw that. This is IV, baby. Wow, morphine. And I deserved it. And it worked. You know how they say, "Well, I took the Percocet. I took the Daracet. I took well, that's okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll take 2. Not this. No." So then, when I left, and they're wrapping me up, and they're giving me stuff, and you go, and you're going to leave. It's like you're getting out of prison. And I said, "So here's a prescription for the antibiotic." I said, "Oh yeah." Now here I am, 13. I said, "Yeah, prescriptions, yeah. Listen, any of that Go juice there? Anything you got? Huh? What was her name? Honey Boo Boo? What's that? What's it called? Boo Boo? Huh? Boo Boo juice, or what's that called? No, Honey Boo Boo. What's that stuff? Go juice. I said, "You got any more of that Go juice?" "Oh no." So help me God. 8th grade, I said, what do you mean no? No, I'm going to, if I'm going to be a pain, well, you're going to be okay. No. And already, I'm like Lenny Bruce. You got to do it, man. I need it, man. I got to get this monkey off my back. I'm 13. It was like this. I came home and I was like, I want that stuff so bad. Now, I wasn't in any kind of a dependency yet, but I realized, well, shit. Wow. I mean, this is, whew. And whoever invented that. So don't tell me that, there's, well, I don't know why these people get addicted. Why? Because it feels great. And it's wonderful. Here's what I want one day. What if I could go into your brain and say, listen, we found out that this part of this is your brain now, right here in the accumbens, in the cerebral, whatever it is, right there, we know that with that feeling of high, this is when dopamine, we can artificially stimulate this without even giving you this. So you can feel high without having any drugs in you. What about that? Give me it. Just say this. What if I could do like this, push it, you're kind of buzzed, and you go back to work and you push it and it clears it out. Wouldn't you do that? Sure, I would. I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with it at all. I've got this idea that, I don't like to take anything that makes me feel loopy. I think loopy is great, but I'm not going to get addicted to it. I ain't going to get addicted to it. No. And I'm not going to even investigate it. I'm not going to go near it because Hunter is not any different. Now, crack cocaine, I don't know how you get to that. I've never seen crack cocaine. Well, I saw somebody smoke it once. I saw heroin one time. This is an old bartender. He said, "You ever see it?" It was because it was I don't know what, brown or something. Nah, because you've got to get to this stage. You've got to go, okay, here I am. I'm not using heroin, but now I'm going to use heroin. So you have to say, okay, I'm not crossing. I'm crossing the Rubicon here. I'm going to try meth for the first time. You have to start. Everybody's got to start puffing on a cigarette. You've got to start. You've got to make this jump from not using something to using it. And sometimes it's a little bit, I've heard people suggest that when they're drinking, like when they're kids, sometimes somebody will say, here, try some of this, try some wine or a beer, or all of a sudden somebody feels this like a warmth that came over them like, whoa, this is, even kids remembered it. There might have been something physiological. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that this is not because Hunter is weak or a bad person. He's like millions of people. There are folks walking around like you can't believe who are addicted to stuff. In fact, it's easier to be addicted probably to heroin than crack. There were people who were functional for years as heroin addicts, Burroughs and others. So, but here's the bottom line. Bottom line is simply this, and I don't want to sit here and be a lecturer. I'm very lucky in that I did not find myself in that position. Now, everybody might have been through periods of time in your life when you thought, hey, this might be fun. Well, you're better off. What about the gamblers? You've never heard about this one. These poor people, the gamblers, where do they go? At least Hunter could get, at least he fell asleep. They remember that meth, that crack pipe or whatever it is? At least he passed out. At least he got high. What happens when you're a meth or a gambler? There is no moment of satiety. There is none. Brasileira mia, Carla says, during my pregnancy after my son's suicide, I did not use psychotropic medications. Instead, I coped by eating compulsively, and my weight increased to nearly 300 pounds. That was my addiction. Let me tell you, that's another one. That is another one. Eating. Gustatory. I'm addicted to oxygen. I wrote that. Come on, man. What do you think this is? Seriously. Show me more respect than that. Give me a higher level of, what is it? Even Theo Vaughn's group wouldn't even entertain a lousy joke like that. Anyway, but thank you. Eating? Oh, come on. Eating? Let me ask you something. And there's something about suicide. This is what my wife has been so involved in. Parents should not have to bury children. Parents should not have to bury children. Parents should not have. Disease is one thing. She's got pictures, all of these family members that she took. Again, God bless President Trump. Say whatever you want about this. They're standing there with pictures of their loved ones, and Trump met with every one of them. Each of them had self-harmed themselves because of either sextortion or because of all kinds of things. Or they bought something, not thinking anything of it. They weren't drug addicts. John A. Light, the Gambino hitman or whatever it was. His daughter just took something that was, it wasn't an OD, it was a poisoning. And these parents it's like somebody took their progression and interrupted it. And it's like you're trying to get back, you're trying to keep going, but it's like, it's not supposed to be like this. It's not supposed to be like this. You're not, and you will do whatever you can to try to rewrite something, to readjust the balance, to do something. Will it help? Maybe not, but it's something. And you will find that certain things, maybe that's available. And I got to tell you something. Eating is wonderful, life-giving, gustatory. And then there's that feeling afterwards of, oh my God. And the eating disorders, that's another one. That's another one. Overeating is one thing. People who are bulimic and the purging. Oh, we've known a bunch of, you can always tell us, like, you go to the bathroom again. The enamel of their teeth is ruined. It's horrible. Every single one. Then there's anorexia. There's others as well, eating disorders. And they're so much of your, put it this way, we all want to seek something to make the pain go away. And some people are lucky. They can say, well, this happened to me and I just prayed and that's it and good for you. But what I noticed today watching is that nobody had any kind of compassion. They had no compassion for Hunter Biden. None. I mean, some people did. And I would think as a good Christian, you would say, this is what I was trained to do. This is what I believe in. I have compassion for people. I let God, or not Jesus perhaps, but I guess God is the ultimate arbiter. I let God mete out the punishment, not me. This was an individual who seems like he was a decent person, and I'm not going to be in the position where I hold grudges or you know what I mean? It's the strangest thing in the world. Your brain is so, not only your brain, but your mind. Let's phrase it. Brain is more neurology. This is more psychiatry. This is more your software. And what you will do to maintain your sense of feeling normal, being okay. And let me tell you something. Social media are screwing kids up today like you cannot believe. Today I read something. Drudge Report said, and I'm paraphrasing, that pediatricians are finding or increases in either diagnosing or cases of, quote, Anxiety up 300%. What is that all about? Anxiety. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going through anxiety, but I never knew anything about that. Did you know about anxiety? I'm not saying people aren't going through it, but if I never told you, if you never knew, let's say you were part of the original mankind, we were sitting around a fire with Neanderthals or whoever, Cro-Magnon, I don't know who was, whatever, whoever could speak, Homo habilis, and somebody said, I'm feeling a little weird here, a little strange. What is it? I don't know. Huh. And nobody else is saying it. So you might say, well, I got to work on that. Then eventually somebody says, you know that thing you felt the other day? Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing too. Yeah, really? Maybe it's okay. I've got it too. Then pretty soon, it's okay to have that. And it almost becomes kind of de rigueur, as we say. Remember Mother's Little Helper, honey? When they would give out Valium to mothers, and sometimes their mothers would mix them or something, would they be passed out? How about women who would not know this, but they would take something like SSRIs and drink and just pass out? I mean, this started a whole new thing. What I'm saying is, if you're told at a young age, if you're told that this is okay, it's okay to think this, you will think this. You will give in to this. You will say, well, I'm feeling anxious. By the way, anxious the way it used to be was when you were excited. Anxiety is a different story. So the bottom line is simply this. I think that Candace Owens is to be absolutely, positively commended. I thought it was one of the most interesting stories about this fellow I do not know. This is somebody, I could like him. I could talk to him easily. There's a lot. I think he was very sincere. And he was obviously trying his best. He obviously wants to benefit himself. Why would he go on the Candace Owens show? They must have had some kind of an understanding. You're not going to go and he's going to yell at him, because that would have been stupid. Let the man talk. He never hid from anything. He never denied anything. Now, I don't think maybe I missed it about his daughter that he has not acknowledged with the stripper, and I don't know where that is. I don't know. Let me tell you something. This is a grandpa here. Let me give you a little bit of advice. Never, ever, ever weigh in on or get in the middle of a friend of yours, any kind of a family. What am I trying to say? Marital discord among friends. Don't ever take sides, and don't ever put yourself in the position where you're trying to understand why they're doing it. You'll never understand what they're going through. Never. Just don't get involved. Especially if they're friends of yours. Never get in the middle of a civil war. Never. Under any circumstance. You don't know. And your friends, let me tell you something else. Your friends that you think you know, you don't know what they're like. Married. You don't know this. Do you ever have somebody who tells you, like, you have the wife says, "Can I talk to you?" No, don't, please. Now listen, you and Brad are great friends. I don't want. No, I just want to talk to you. No, please don't. Well, you know what he did? Oh God, don't tell me. He liked to dress up like a mule. Well, what? Don't tell me this. Oh God, you don't want to. Just don't. But that's what life is like. So I don't know what this man's life went through. I have no idea. I don't know. I heard stuff about his father and his mother. Oh, I'm not even going to get into it. You know what I'm talking about, honey. The story about why the mother left that day and all this stuff. I don't know this. Deep down inside, I think Tara Reid, what she said to him, where she said that he basically mauled her or attacked her. I have no reason to dispute that. But I'll bet you, if you were sitting next to Joe Biden and you didn't know who he was, he'd be a great backslapper and he's an old-time politician. Absolutely. Obama kind of cold. Jimmy Carter, I don't think I never got the whole Jimmy Carter thing. I never got it. Yeah, Jimmy had, remember that? Yeah, Jimmy was in Playboy magazine. Remember that? And he goes, have you ever had an affair? He goes, no, but I've had lust in my heart. And I'm sure Roseland said, excuse me. Yeah, Mr. Lust in your heart, get your ass in here. What was that all about? Why did you have to say that? You've got lust in your heart? For who? Who? Nobody in particular. You said it. What are you talking about? Lust in your heart. Gee. Remember how, remember Malaise? Remember the time when he talked about it? He had a sweater on. Remember the heating? But you turn the thermostat down. It's like, this is our leader. Wear a sweater. Remember the gas lines, odd and even? That was Jimmy Carter. In any event. So Candace Owens, good for you, Missy. Good for you. That was great. And as far as old Hunter, I wish him the best. Don't be surprised if he has a relapse. They say that on a regular basis that people have said that sometimes 3, 4, 5 are common before people get their shit together. I don't know. I don't want to see anybody go through that again. I want to see him get better. I want to. And he also talked about how he said, I like to paint. He said, I never charged $500,000 for my paintings. I can't believe how much they said that was false. And he said, they didn't have my laptop. They had the hard drive. Okay. And he said, every single thing that I had, every single picture, every stupid thing. Okay. And there are people with the laptop from hell. They were like people were just, they were just, it's like swarming over him. And I thought, this is rather unseemly. I'm not a big, when he said, was that your cocaine? Candace asked, was that your cocaine in the White House? He goes, no. In the visitor section? He goes, I wasn't anywhere near there. I believe that. You can tell when somebody denies it. You can tell when you're telling the truth. I don't know whose it was. But he brought up some great stuff about Trump. He brought up stuff about Middle East. And he says, my father wasn't involved in this Epstein stuff. That wasn't him at all. And he said, my father never made any money. He goes, these people made more money. He said, believe it or not. I mean, he made somebody sold a book, whatever it is. He said, but he's not a rich man. Not like these people. He never bought stock when he was, I think what he was saying was true. Now listen, don't get me wrong. He was, and they took advantage of him. And he basically, I don't think he went into this, but I think one of the reasons why they took advantage of him is they kind of knew what was on that hard drive. And maybe, who knows? Because these people are rat bastards. Let me tell you something. They have no soul. Hollywood, Washington, they have no soul. And they are the most miserable people in the world. You have no idea. And when you try to do something good for somebody, they will hate you for this. They will get jealous of you. Believe me when I'm telling you this. There's so much jealousy, miserable. Look at the trolls. Look at these people. The jadrules, the jatrolls. They're like, who are these people? Miserable. It's just this weird. So out of this misery, I think, again, touche for Candace and touche for a Hunter. I wish him the best. Why? Because I think Jesus would want him. I think he'd want him to say that. Remember that? Oh, I love all these people. They walk around. They got the cross and this and that and the Jesus. And then when you listen to them, it's like, do you have any compassion? My God, practice what you preach. I don't think the big guy would want you to say that necessarily, but that's me. That's me. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. Let me thank you for following me, following Mrs. L. Thank you so much. We've got some incredible interviews. She does the best work available. And I swear to God, she's going after big tech. And somebody is, I don't know what they're doing, but we need your help. We need you to follow her at Lynn's Warrior. She's doing nothing but good. Period. Period. I, on the other hand, well, I'm evil, but with a lowercase e. I want to thank you for that. Please follow me on here. Hit subscribe to us. Hit that little bell to be notified of live streams and new videos. And also make sure you like this video. Liking the video just changes everything. And there is, oh, look at this. And what is this? And Lisa Sanchez, thank you so very much. Somebody says, go after data centers. Are you following what we're saying here? Are you, are you, are you, I used to find the data centers. I got a brown water. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know. I just have, okay, thank you. Not saying you're wrong. Not saying you're wrong. So anyway, thank you, my friends. Thank yous. Have a great and a glorious day. If you are in need, there is help for you. There are AA chapters. AA has saved lives. God bless those people. 1,000 points of life, not the government. They've been in, what was it called, stale coffee in church basements. They've been doing this forever. God bless them. There is help for you. You are not alone. Take advice. Don't ever feel like, oh, I don't know what to do. If your life is in danger, save your life. Do something today. Seriously. There's nothing embarrassing about it. You're human. It's your brain. It's your brain chemistry. That's all it is. Anyway, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. We love you. Until then, remember this. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Oh, look at this. Jess Happy said, Blessed Art says, I had to turn off the comments watching CO's show today. I'm so glad I did because I was able to hear the beauty that was happening between them. Yes, love thy neighbor. Open your eyes to positive outcomes. More importantly, open your heart. Love you, Lionel. Absolutely. Jess, thank you for that. You're absolutely correct. I'm telling you, you've got, I would be doing it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't you go if you had to go to physical therapy, if you had to go for anything, wouldn't you just go to something that worked? Seriously. But be careful. Be careful to whom you share these. Also, remember, if you're young and you ever are, let's say you're a young person, remember what you say. Some of the stuff, I hate to say it, could affect things like life insurance premiums. Oh, you're taking antidepressants, right? Oh, okay. Well, is that bad? Well, no, but people sometimes, say, you did that CPAP or whatever that snoring thing. Oh, sleep apnea. Oh, it's another thing. Well, what's wrong with that? Do you skydive? Dear God, don't say that. Oh, diabetic. Okay. So I'm not saying lie, but understand that whereas everybody says, this is wonderful. Ask yourself these questions. Is this really good? Is this really, like, for example, do we have to know that Bobby Kennedy was a heroin addict? God bless him for finding back. Do you really, do you have to know that? Am I saying keeping things quiet? Yes, because people are terrible. They use things against you. They will use your any kind of a weakness, anything. And there's nothing worse than somebody who's a teetotaler. Well, I never liked that. They love to do that. They love to say, well, I don't drink. I don't like the taste of it. I'm better than you. That's really kind of what they're saying. And I can't stand it. There are a lot of things that I just don't particularly care for. But I don't gloat over it. I don't sit there. I don't want to go through it. But the point is, that's what people do. Anyway, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. We will talk tomorrow. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you, my friends. You are loved. Be kind to each other. Open your heart. Listen. Listen to people who you might not have thought that you liked, maybe politically or whatever, but they'll give you something sometimes which you never thought was relevant, but it is. All right, dear friends, until then, remember, monkey's dead, show's over, sue ya, da-da.